Welcome in to DC On Screen. I'm your host, David T. Robertson. This is my co-host, Jason Goss.
Hey.
We are the show about all the DC Universe properties brought to film and television, and oh my gosh, they just dumped a whole bucket load on us this week, man.
Yep.
I don't even know what to think about all this stuff. Like, you guys, man, I don't know. I'm probably going to miss some stuff.
Let's put it this way. There's so much that got dumped, and some of it doesn't make sense with each other. So, over the next couple weeks, we're just going to figure this out together.
Yeah, but going to do our best here with the time we have. First off, some lighter fare. I know that there was a whole bunch of Justice League stuff, primarily, that was just dumped. But,
yeah.
DC All Access was talking to Kevin Conroy, and they asked him if there was any like big project he wanted to do before he stopped being Batman, and he says he wants to do a Batman musical.
Oh yeah. Did he have one in mind?
I don't think so. I don't think he's the writing type.
I'll tell you, I'm going to pitch a title for that right now. Cowardly Lot.
Ooh. Wait, didn't they do that on the animated series? Wasn't there an episode where there was like a Batman musical or something?
Yep, there was a glimpse. There just a glimpse of one where they sang the line like "Superstitious and Cowardly Lot," and I want the rest of that song and I want the rest of that show.
Okay. So Warner Brothers, and they did this a while ago. I've been seeing these pop up on the internet for a while. For some reason, it's suddenly gained traction, and Warner Brothers has released new posters for the Tim Burton and Joel Schumacher Batman movies. What's funny about them, they're all like kind of modernized. They tried to modernize them a little bit. It's like Batman and the Joker, and then Batman and the Penguin and Catwoman. But they're trying to make them look dark and gritty. So for the Batman Forever, they just had like Batman and two buildings because they didn't want to show those villains.
Or they just imitate like the Dark Knight Rises cover.
Kind of, not really, but I mean, it's like dark skies and like, gloomy Gotham behind. And the funny thing is like it doesn't even really look like Gotham. It just kind of looks like two random buildings in a city.
It was two random buildings, or probably two buildings they thought might work in whatever city they were in. Right, and let me pull up the curtain here. Get behind the veil. There's nothing gritty in that movie, kids. The gloomiest thing that happens in that movie is the lack of acting. And so sans Carrie. Carrie gets a pass. For Batman and Robin, they have like a very angry looking Mr. Freeze behind George Clooney, and they've recolored George Clooney's suit. It's like out and out just faking what the color of this movie is. It's a dark and gloomy cover with a Mr. Freeze behind Clooney, and Clooney, they've recolored his suit from blue to black. I'm like, you lying shits. You pricks. You want to make me you want to bring on a setting of despair and like intractable sadness. You show me a close-up of all the nipples in that movie. Or just, like, any picture of Uma Thurman acting. Oh. Yeah. We recently had to watch Batman and Robin because we are actually going to do a crossover event with the Suicide Squad cast. Yeah. In just a few days. So be looking forward to that because I'm going to give you my quick preview for it. Ready? Genitalia for everyone. Poor Tim tried watching it 3 times. Oh man, you just got to power through, bud. Yeah. You have to sit there. Like there's probably about 5 minutes of the film I didn't see because I just like had my head buried in my hands. Yeah. just shaking, going, oh fuck, oh my god, oh it's just so bad. I have about a half a page of notes, and they're all from like the first like 5 minutes of the movie, and I went, you know what, this is going to be too much. I got this. I can't take notes. I can't take notes. This is just too bad. It's too bad. I'm going to have to wait for the back to school sales at Walmart before I can get enough paper to accurately note this movie. I was more concerned with the fact that it was going to take me 5.5 hours, most likely, to keep pausing and writing down notes. I couldn't pause for shit. There was no way. Like it's a sprint. It's a sprint to get through that thing. Oh man.
So yeah, we are going to be doing a big crossover event, review part 1 on the Suicide Squad cast feed, part 2 on the DC on Screen feed, where we review Batman and Robin. It is coming in the very near future. Speaking of future, that futuristic is the theme for our Loot Crate this month. See what I did there?
I did.
I'm smooth.
That was an epic segue.
Right. June's crate is full of futuristic items from Rick and Morty, Futurama, Star Trek, Mega Man, Valiant Comics, and there's a model, there's a figure, there's a monthly tee and a pin. Loot Crate is a monthly subscription box service for epic geek and gamer items and pop culture gear. For less than $20 a month, you get 6 to 8 items that include licensed gear, apparel, collectibles, one-of-a-kind items, and more. You have until the 19th at 9 p.m. Pacific to subscribe and receive that month's crate. And when the cutoff happens, that's it. You're done. It's over. You can't get this one anymore. This one's a particularly good one. Go to lootcrate.com/giant size team up and enter the code giant size team up to get $3 off your monthly subscriptions.
I'd get it.
Any new subscription, by the way.
Really, just for Futurama at this point. It's hard to find good Futurama swag these days.
Yeah, but if you're like going to get a box, man, Futurama, that's a sell right there.
I mean, that's...
But Rick and Morty and Star Trek?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Now, I mean, you had me at Futurama and Rick and Morty. Because you know I like my weird animated shows.
Right. You would have me at Rick, just from the hopes that it was Rick and Morty.
And it seems like a waste to use Rick and Morty on futuristic, because at some point they're going to do like interdimensional, and then what do you just throw Rick and Morty back in there again?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely you do.
I mean, you can still put Futurama in there if you want to. Little episode called Farnsworth Parabox.
Every year you can do that, but
5-10.
Yeah, I mean, there are a finite number of IPs. I would assume that they would just recycle.
Sure.
What would really suck is if and I sincerely hope this is the case because I'm going to feel like shit. Let me know, any of you guys that do this. Let me know. Is it like someone go ahead and do this really quickly, and then let me know if it's like, I don't know, the shitty like J.J. Abrams Star Trek.
You just don't want to get like 7 Into Darkness figures.
Right.
I understand.
Yeah, it's like they're finally trying to pawn off all those Playmates Star Trek action figures.
Just give the man a Spock. Give the man a Spock.
Alrighty. So I guess we're going to talk about Justice League now, as well as we can. They released a logo.
Is your seat comfortable? You're sitting down. You're comfy. You're good.
Yeah, and you know what? Stick around because we got a whole bunch of.
We're
going
to be here a minute. Shoot!
We got BVS, Suicide Squad, Arrow, Flash. Oh my gosh!
Oh, there's a ton of the rest of it, but Justice League alone is just kind of a like settle in, guys, and wait for us to be 60% right because this just came out, and it's still kind of weird.
Yeah. Okay.
Like we just started dating this news. We're not sure about it. We just kissed the other time.
Yeah. They actually like reported some stuff, and then it was updated, and Warner Brothers was like, "That's not true," and they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry." So they released a logo. It was just Justice League on a black background, white lettering. It's got like a little star there,
of course.
And you've seen this logo.
Yep.
What did you think? Like, people are bitching about it. People don't like it. Like, some people don't. Like, a lot of people just don't give a shit either way. They're like, oh, that's fine, whatever. It's Justice League. What the hell do you want?
They don't need a flash. Here's my argument for the logo. Some people are saying like, well, it's just kind of lame, right? Like, it's just really straightforward. It's kind of plain. You're the Justice League. You have bigger shit to concern yourself with than your graphic design. You don't have a PR guy.
Yeah, I was more or less just like, okay, why are we even that worried about the logos? I mean, I don't think I've looked at like one comic book movie logo and
I'm never gonna watch that.
Or yay!
Yeah.
But I kind of like it actually. It's got the little star in it and in the negative space, and it reminds me of the little stars in Super Friends.
That's nice.
Little stars in space that like shoot out and go, boom, boom, pew, 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 and then you hear the dude be like, "Meanwhile, at the Hall of Justice." That's what it reminds me of. I don't know.
There's something about the way they do the angles on it's the cut of it, especially on the J and the couple of the E's and definitely the S's. But yeah, it's got that little cut on the pieces of it that keep reminding me of it's like a cheap Green Lantern.
Huh. Yeah, I don't see that.
I look at the word Justice League and then I see like a 45-degree angle and I'm looking for like a lantern somewhere.
Uh-huh.
I would be looking for an X, but we know Manhunter's not there, so.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think there is an actual I don't think there is actually a definitive JLA or Justice League logo.
There's the old school one.
Justice League of America.
There, like the Justice League of America, the old school one has it's Justice League America, blah blah blah, all red and blue, and then there's like stars down the side of each side of it.
Yeah.
Most Justice League logos have like a little bit of star edge, at least in the old versions.
Yeah. So and this one does too, so I'm good, because they can't really do of America so much anymore.
No, and it's
and they shouldn't.
No,
it's the Justice League of the world.
Yeah. A, it never made sense. B, if you pull in like Justice League International, there's going to be a bunch of people that come out of the woodworks going like, "No, it was a whole different team, you ass." Okay, I got you. All right, sorry. But the one little star kind of hanging out in there is a nice little. It's a nod. It's literally a wink, hiding in negative space.
I like it.
It's just fine. What do you want? The new 52 logo? Come on.
So they released a synopsis. Fueled by his restored faith in humanity and inspired by Superman's selfless act. Spoilers for BVS.
Sorry. I don't know what you... I mean, it comes out like tomorrow, today when you're listening to this. Go get it.
Right. Bruce Wayne enlists the help of his newfound ally, Diana Prince, to face an even greater enemy. Together, Batman and Wonder Woman work quickly to find and recruit a team of metahumans to stand against this newly awakened threat. But despite the formation of this unprecedented League of Heroes, Batman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Cyborg, and the Flash, it may already be too late to save the planet from an assault of catastrophic proportions. Now, people are a little upset that Superman was not mentioned in that lineup.
Yeah, I mean, it's either going to be a little bit or a lot. I don't know, but Henry Cavill was definitely on set. I mean, we saw pictures of him and Affleck, bench pressing together. I mean, he's definitely there, and he's presumably in part one. We just don't know for what, to what extent. None of that.
Yeah, apparently at this press visit or whatever, the set visit that all the press went to, Henry Cavill wasn't around. And they didn't see anything. What they did see were a whole bunch of things. Like, they said they were on set day 31 of 111. Deborah Snyder said it's not a two-part movie. It's just one movie. But they saw stuff like, 3 mother boxes. Apparently there are going to be 3 mother boxes that were like divided up between all of humanity. Like one gets like mankind gets one, the Amazonians get one, and the Atlanteans get one. And they're pretty distinctive in color and design. Red, silver, and brownish. I
mean, it looked like from BVS, kind of looked like Cyborg got one, or a couple.
Yeah, I'm guessing that's the one that humanity has.
So,
but thing is, though, is like they're also...
Ping.
Like they saw a scene with most of the Justice League on a rooftop with Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah,
played by J.K. Simmons.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently
he's J.K. Simmons.
Right. But he's wearing like an overcoat. He's wearing a hat. He's got the mustache and the glasses and everything.
Attaboy.
And they're talking about these scientists who have been kidnapped or taken. And at some point, like, Cyborg shows up and, like, walks over, and apparently this, like, really makes Wonder Woman happy. She's, like, smiling and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And, probably because they were like, hey, come join the League. And he was like, F y'all. And then he decided, like, no, I have to do what's right. And he comes and he's like, by the way, there's this Star Labs guy who's missing too. And she's all like, yay. And apparently they all, like, disappear, and the Flash is the only one standing there.
Yeah.
He's, like, talking to Gordon. He's like, dude, did they just do this? That's rude.
They just, like, disappear on you like that? It's rude. And then he zips off. It's the classic little, like, Gordon turns around and for half a second turns back and no one's there.
Yeah. And, I I'm really digging what I'm hearing about the Flash out of this.
Mm-hmm. So far, man,
there's a scene.
It's been fun.
There's a scene that's been described. It's been like described to the letter. But they even said it's probably not gonna be exactly this way. So,
they either this guy's about to lose his job, like the guy who described it. We posted a link to it on the site, but. Mm-hmm. The guy who did that either just lost all of his media credentials, or they told him, "Yeah, it's okay to describe it letter for letter."
I mean, I think that's what the whole point of this is to show that there's a different tone going on, which there was always a different tone. However, we were wrong. Snyder and Warner Brothers aren't just going whatever BVS could be. Who cares what it did? I just kind of based on all the. On how much Warner Brothers has ignored people in the past, the fans in the past, I just assumed, no, they're going to do whatever they want.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it looks like it's going to be a good thing.
I can still make an argument that Snyder and Co. Will that sum it up enough to do it? Snyder and Co.
Sure.
Kind of always had the plan to make Dawn of Justice the darker before the dawn moment, as we've said many times.
That is documented, and they always did intend for that. Before Batman v Superman even came out, Chris Terrio was talking about that. We reported on that on the show.
That it was supposed to be a lot more fun and all that.
He specifically stated that BVS was the Empire Strikes Back of the trilogy.
Yeah.
And that Justice League was going to be much lighter in tone.
How
much lighter in tone?
May or may not have changed. Like, we knew it was supposed to at least bounce back a little bit. But there's... I don't know, man. I could make a conspiratorial argument that it was always going to bounce back into the movie it's going to be now, but after all the reviews came out, they kind of told Snyder and Co., hey, y'all got to go do some press. Y'all got to do... Like, I don't care how proud you are of what you did and how proud you are of what you're doing. You got to go just pretend you're contrite. Just get out there and pretend. Just go say you're sorry, and you're going to change and all that. I don't care.
Well, Snyder said, when Batman v Superman first came out, I was like, wow, okay, oof. It did catch me off guard. I kind of felt like, and I have had to, in my mind, make an adjustment. And maybe it is my hardcore take on characters as far as I love them, and I love the material. I take it really deep. So I think the nice thing about working on Justice League is that it is an opportunity to really blow the doors off of the scale and the bad guys and team building and all the stuff that I think I could justify as a big modern comic book movie, if that makes any sense. Not all of it makes a lot of sense. He might need to work on complete sentences.
Well, it sounded like a run-on to some extent.
It's like he started like 4 sentences in there and then like finished with like 3 others, and I was like, okay,
yeah.
But whatever, man.
We all do that when we're talking.
Yeah,
getting quoted is a bitch.
It is. It sucks. I love you, Zach.
I mean, as a human, I feel bad for him there. Like, I hate to sit there and diagram someone's sentence when they've been quoted. It is not pretty.
I truly hope that no one ever just, transcribes what I say.
Right.
On this podcast. Just don't.
Or in general.
Don't do that. Of course, if someone had to. Chris White, I think I got a job for you, buddy.
Go for
it. We require every episode of DC On Screen to be transcribed.
Still waiting for that back count of Futurama references. One day.
In leather bound.
Calligraphy.
Calligraphy, yeah.
Yeah. With the charts on graphing paper.
Now, as far as like the fallout from BVS, I guess there was fallout. And Deborah Snyder is saying, and I take issue with this, and we've talked about this already, but Deborah Snyder says, I think the main thing we learned is that people don't like to see their heroes deconstructed. She said, I think that's hard because it's people we've grown up with and we care about. They like seeing them in all their glory. We hear what everyone has to say because we care what the fans say. At the same time, each story that we're telling is a completely different story, and I think what's really great is where we're going is kind of what the audience wanted. We just had to take the characters from somewhere to bring them up to where they are now. That was kind of our journey. I don't think the issue was that if Civil War is any indication, it's not that the fans don't want to see their heroes deconstructed. I think maybe that is the case with DC fans. I'm not sure. I think the argument is we haven't seen these people constructed enough to see them deconstructed.
that was part of it. And I would say so much. All right, Civil War deconstructed a few characters, but say Iron Man.
Yeah.
Iron Man 2 was a deconstruction of Iron Man.
Right.
And it was maybe,
Iron Man 3 was a deconstruction of Iron Man.
Well, it was it was a continuation.
Every Iron Man has deconstructed Iron Man.
That's actually a good point. Yeah. Like Iron Man 2 it deconstructs his kind of his own in a vacuum his own psychology. And Iron Man 3 it seems to deconstruct his reliance on just his intelligence in general. Like is that all he is? Is that all he's got to offer sitting there looking at a freaking universe, and for all he knows at this point, a multiverse of possible baddies. Like he says at some point in Iron Man 3, like, I'm just a guy in a tin suit or some crap like that. And like that's deconstruction as far as that goes. Iron Man 2 didn't come across as well because it was deconstructing his ability to cope with pressure. Basically, it was, hey, what if he became an alcoholic as a result of the pressure of being a superhero?
Right.
And accidentally killed a ton of people. I still submit that Iron Man 2 maybe killed at least a third of the amount of people that the Man of Steel fight did.
Yeah.
But
look, I didn't bring up Marvel to be like Marvel versus DC. I'm just using it as a comic book movie in general.
No. I'm doing it in the same genre. I have no interest in Marvel versus DC. And like anybody who's, who loves either or both or none of them is fine with me as long as they're freaking listening to this and give a shit about what we're talking about. Don't care.
Yeah.
We are an all-inclusive family. But to deconstruct them, the problem kind of is that you had Iron Man 1 where you got the glory moment, right? And then you got to see, okay, what do we do with this guy? And that's a very popular thing. Like that happens a lot. That's actually a fair amount of television how it goes down, really. Here's the pilot episode, look at this badass. Okay, we're going to spend the rest of the season telling you about the stuff that's bothering him. Fine. Works great on television. But in BVS we had Man of Steel, where you got an origin story, and then you got kind of a one-off fight, I'll call it. In a sense, the fight itself was a little bit of a bottle episode. And then Batman, you had nothing. I mean, you had nothing to really show what he's doing. He was reactionary to the Superman story. And in some ways that worked. Like for me, that worked just fine because I have seen the Batman origin so many times, I don't know what to do with it anymore. It's never changed because it doesn't have to. It's fine. Like New 52 came along, and what did they do?
Except BVS,
nothing.
It did change a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit, but it's not. The skeleton is even some of the flesh is always going to be there because there's no point in changing it. It's fine. But yeah, you just got like a glimpse of what this guy is. You didn't get to like settle in with him. You didn't get to see enough of it, and you didn't get to like feel comfortable with it before you saw it ripped apart. And Man of Steel, one of the problems was they had already started ripping him apart before they brought him into this. Like we just saw like Shark Week in media res. Like it was just we walked in right in the middle of Chum in the water. For me, that was fine because I've got all this background of hey, I love this stuff and I love like all the parts where they rip them apart. Those are all great to me. So, like we said before, like this is a movie that pleased us because we've never seen this kind of thing on screen. Like we've seen all the glory moments, we've never seen the shit moments, and we kind of enjoyed seeing the shit moments. But
right, and I think there's a very there was a huge swath of the public that cried, "Why are they fighting anyway?" and never really quite understood or cared enough to understand.
Yeah.
Not only that, there's the factor of everyone has an expectation of these characters. Marvel doesn't have that.
Well, especially some of the characters they chose, like Captain America's obvious. Like you expect him to be like patriotic, kind of Boy Scoutish. But after that, think about the people
until recently.
yeah.
Now he's apparently an agent of Hydra or whatever. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know what to do with Captain Nazi yet. We're gonna see where that goes. But think about the people in the Avengers: Hawkeye, Black Widow. I mean, okay, so spies and they're both great with weapons. Got it. But there's not like a national feeling about those characters. Thor,
right?
Man, no one has a national feeling about that character except now everyone thinks Thor's hot. I understand. It's Chris Hemsworth. We get it.
Sure.
The Hulk, everyone kind of knew, hey, don't make him angry. And Iron Man, completely off the map. No one cared before RDJ played him.
Yeah.
Like, they started with nothing and gave you a construction of these characters. And some of the movies weren't great. Go back and look at the ratings for Captain America 1.
Yeah.
Not wonderful. Nor Thor.
Incredible Hulk. especially.
Oh God, we've all but forgiven ourselves for even having watched that movie. But
the important part, they were instrumental in building a universe, and so was Batman v Superman.
And they took each step to like tell you why they're doing this with each character, but they didn't have the expectations on them that DC had and WB had bringing in Batman and Superman, who together, and this is something people have used against it, those two characters together are more recognizable than any single person in the collective of persons in the Avengers. If I did a poll and asked you if you knew who these people were and can you tell me their origin story, or at least a version of it, everybody in the Avengers 1, even 2, you wouldn't have it. There's no chance anybody could match Batman and Superman. Yeah. Maybe even singly. That's an entirely different battle. Just an entirely different battle.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So, let's see. Snyder talked about tone. He says, I'm obsessed with tone in the movies. Tone has always been like the main thing that I go after with a movie, and I really wanted the tone of the 3 movies to be different chapters and not be like the same note that you strike. I really wanted that, and do believe that since Batman v Superman came out and we really wrapped our heads around what Justice League would be, I did think that the tone has, because of what fans have said and how it was perceived by some, that we have really put the screws to what we thought the tone would be, and I feel like just crushed it that even little bit closer. There seems to be a lot of reports like that the Flash, Ezra Miller's The Flash, is going to be really the infuser of lighthearted moments here in the Justice League. There's a wonderful scene description involving Ezra Miller coming into his into Barry Allen's apartment, and he's got the little makeshift Flash suit there in the middle of the room there with little lights on it and whatnot. And there's a Bruce Wayne sitting there, and he like makes a crack about. From what I understand, there's 2 chairs in the room, and he makes a crack about coming home to find Bruce Wayne sitting in your second favorite chair.
Right.
He realizes he's looking at the costume, and at some point he says, "I ice skate" or something. Bruce throws a batarang at his head to see how fast he is, or to see what he does.
Yeah.
And we see like it goes to bullet time. He sees the batarang coming in slow motion, realizes that he's Batman, pulls it out of the air. Bruce is like, "You're fast." Barry goes, "You're Batman." And before Batman even makes the complete pitch to get in the for the Justice League, Barry goes, "I'm in. I need friends." That's the quick rundown of the scene, and I kind of love it. I really do. It makes it a lot better for me. It softens the blow that the main villain appears to be Steppenwolf. Which they said they don't have someone, but he's close. That's the uncle of Darkseid. He's kind of like the military leader and everything.
Those main lieutenants and all that.
Yeah, and I'm fine with it. It does appear that was the character in the communion deleted scene.
Yeah.
Which Snyder says that they released. They did not release it because they were like, "Oh, this will make it make sense. Hurry, put it out there so people understand it and like it better." They put it out because he was like, "I wanted to do kind of a deleted scene, but I was like, Marvel does that. And I don't know, it wouldn't fit where I would want to put it because it happens before the ending of the movie.
Yeah.
What if we could just put it out this way?" So I kind of get that. You don't want to seem like you're copying, and also it doesn't really fit behind this credits.
It actually does make sense, and I would appreciate it if he would go ahead and tell me for sure that that's how we're going to do things, so I can not sit around through the credits of the rest of these movies.
I don't think they're going to be doing those, but
that's fine. I mean, it's just the Marvel movies. You love watching them and everything, but oh my god, sitting through the credits sometimes.
Yeah. Now we're going to be dealing with parademons in this movie, apparently.
Yes, we are. Nests of them.
And yeah, they're going to have a nest in a tunnel that goes beneath Metropolis and Gotham.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently Batman's going to have like a freaking couple of vehicles in this thing. He's going to have, not only is he's got the Batmobile, which they've said is going to have like machine guns and a rocket launcher on it. And I really hope those are for the parademons.
Yeah.
Because it was my understanding that he wasn't going to be a murderous bastard anymore.
And arguments still can be made about whether he was ever a murderous bastard.
Yeah. He, they pretty much played it close to the, let the survival of the fittest take its natural course.
Yeah, the easiest, the summation of, the quickest way to describe the Bruce didn't kill anybody that he wasn't supposed to argument for this movie was they all shot first. And even then, I realize I'm subject to a world of ridicule for even saying that. But hey, Han shot first, right? And everyone still liked him.
Yeah. I fall on the line of, Batman was kind of dark this time.
Yeah, things got a little bad.
Yeah.
But rocket launchers and machine guns for a nest of parademons. Come on, we can get behind that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? I've never heard anyone bitch about him killing. No, I have, but not most people. Most people didn't bitch about him killing everybody in the Dark Knight trilogy.
Oh, there were so many dead. Did. So many dead people.
Or all the Tim Burton movies. He didn't kill people. I think there's even a case to be made that he did in Batman and Robin.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah, absolutely. No, anyway. There's two scientists. He just hangs out up there like, y'all okay? Cool. Holla at you in a minute.
Yeah, I have never seen... we'll talk about that on the Suicide Squad cast crossover. So yeah, Batman's going to have a couple more vehicles. He's going to have a... I don't even know what it was called. What was it called? There was the Nightcrawler, which they've only built practically the cockpit, like the top of it for. They're going to add these all these legs in post. The thing that bothers me about that is they said that it's actually going to rip up the terrain, and that the designer was saying that he imagined it as something like Thomas Wayne had envisioned or something for a military contract years prior. We don't need our heroes destroying any more of the city.
Well, no, but if it's just a tunnel beneath the city that the parademons are using. Again, I'm going to argue parademons until I can't.
Yeah, I understand.
2017, bitches. 2017, hold the straw.
But it's supposed to be like an all-terrain vehicle that gets to where, normal cars wouldn't be able to. Right. That's fine.
He's done that before. I mean, Dark Knight Returns. He drives a tank.
Yeah. Then there's this other thing they're mentioning, and I hate to say it's like a Quinjet, but they said it. This thing's like a Quinjet. It's called the Flying Fox. It's a 3-story ship that can fit the Batmobile and tons of other Bat gadgets, Collider says. It's self-contained. Apparently it's just massive. There's they saw art for the movie where it was showing different Justice League members on different levels of it.
So they have a quiet flying watchtower for now.
That's what it sounds like.
Sounds cool.
I would think like a helicarrier version of a Quinjet.
I was kind of thinking it sounds more like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. for now.
Yeah.
The
Agents
bus,
of Justice.
Yeah.
It was revealed that Willem Dafoe is playing Vulko from the Aquaman series. He's sort of an older gentleman, an advisor to Aquaman.
Okay. You thought for sure he'd be a villain just because, look at him. The man just says, make me a villain.
He does.
He has got one of the most devious-looking smiles I've ever seen.
I assume that role's got to carry over into Aquaman.
I hope so. Dafoe's always fun, man. Unless you hide him behind a goblin mask, he's a lot of fun to watch.
Right.
Oh, and
apparently Zeus is going to be in the movie.
Oh, for real? Sir? That actually sounds pretty great. I had something with Aquaman though. Weren't there reports a few weeks ago, rumors that Aquaman might be the villain?
Yes, there were rumors, but I don't really see that.
That seems to have been discounted by the synopsis, right?
Yeah, it does. It does seem to be discounted by the synopsis.
I was kind of glad to hear that when I ran across the synopsis. I went back and I didn't go back and do anything. That's why I just asked you all that.
Right, but yeah, apparently there's going to be like a whole Zeus part where they're doing like a history lesson, like flashback at the beginning, talking about how we got all the mother boxes and how they the Atlanteans and mankind and the Amazons fought Darkseid 35,000 years ago or some such.
Sounds good.
Yeah,
they're just gonna throw all the mythologies into one basket and shake it around and go, all right, here's the story now.
Hey man, you know what? I'm pretty relieved. Remember when we thought that the Amazons were going to be an offshoot of the Kryptonian colonists?
Yep.
From Man of Steel?
Yep.
Phew. Bullet dodged.
I know. Oh, I know, buddy.
So Zack Snyder says they have yet to film a scene with all the Justice League members together. The film is being shot. It's being shot on film, but it's not in IMAX. I don't know why.
That does seem odd.
Well, hold on.
It feels like a big film, but I haven't seen the numbers on whether there was any like return on the IMAX front. So if there was no return on it, they've still got to build back their momentum. Okay, makes sense.
Well, Squadcast actually made a pretty good point on this. Scott suggested, I think it was Scott, it may have been Brent, I'm sorry if it was Brent, that it might be the fact that there are only so many IMAX cameras in the world, and that you have to reserve them in advance.
So giant-ass costs?
Giant-ass costs, and not only that, they may have just not been able to reserve any. They may have just all been taken. But, here's the other thing.
Yeah.
We reported last week that the Batman v Superman Blu-ray was not going to have the IMAX scenes inserted. Like, it was just going to stay the original aspect ratio. Mm-hmm. I think probably... I don't think Zack Snyder likes IMAX. I think he just likes his aspect ratio, you know? And I think he went, you know what? Why are we spending this extra money? I don't really want to do this anyway. Hey, Warner Brothers, what say we don't spend this amount of money? Okay, cool.
Oh, I could totally understand if he went to somebody and went, hey, so how about instead of I spend my whole day focusing on making sure every freaking aspect ratio of this movie is exactly right, how about you let me focus on whether the movie is going to do well? And someone went, you know, Zach, you have a point.
Right, maybe. Yeah.
How about you go chase those tomatoes?
Mm-hmm. Junkie XL is coming back to do the score without Hans Zimmer.
Hans said he was done, right?
Yeah, Hans is done.
He bowed out, and I'm sure like all of the Valas in the world went.
Zach is saying that Justice League is going to appeal to a younger audience. He says that Justice League is much more inclusive. I think also you have these two very young characters, Flash and Cyborg, and you know they're definitely lighter. I think they're going to appeal to a younger audience.
Yeah, felt like he's trying to bring in a little bit of the feel of Teen Titans with those two.
Affleck is saying that Batman in Justice League is more sardonic, has more humor, a little more irony. He's on a little more man on a mission this time, as opposed to like he was so full of anger because of what happened at the Black Zero event. That kind of character, that sort of rage that possessed him, and now he's on a mission to get this group together. They've likened it to the Magnificent Seven.
It's going to be true. I mean,
in that regard,
he was in all of BVS. He was on a mission of revenge, essentially, and this is a hopeful journey he's on now. Mm-hmm. Like he, as much as Tell's dying at the end of it, like we have to try.
Yeah. Affleck also said this is now not a guy at the end of his rope, but kind of a guy at the beginning, starting over, reborn and believing, finding hope, the thing that he's hopeful for. He's holding on to desperately, and he really believes in this idea of forming this group.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite versions of Batman when you get to do it, and it takes a while to do him because you have to play it subtly. One of my favorite versions of Batman, it's shows up a lot in like BTAS as it goes in through like Justice League and Justice League Unlimited.
Yeah.
But
he says he's got more of the wry, ironic gallows humor. It's not like a ha-ha jokey, but that sort of stuff comes out a little bit. A bit of his darker humor is present.
Good.
I kind of dig that.
No, gallows humor actually works fine with bats. I mean,
someone asked if Batman and the Flash were going to share like a sort of Batman and Robin vibe. And Affleck said, that's interesting. There's an element of that to it. There's a quality to really what Ezra does that is young and fun and full of life and excited about what they're doing that's so in contrast to who Batman is. There's a little bit of that natural yin and yang to playing scenes with him. There's not the ward aspect to it, but there's a little bit of the mentor, which you'd probably ask Ezra, and he'd be like, fuck that, he's not my mentor. But I think there is a little bit, and it's fun to play, definitely.
I like that. I also like that he used the ward aspect.
Yeah.
There's nothing kowtowing, subservient, none of that. It's not a sidekick feel, right? It's just every now and then he's going to be right, and Flash is going to be wrong.
Yeah. So the Flash suit is 148 pieces.
Mm-hmm.
And like,
I'm going to go ahead and disappoint all the action figure fans out there. It's probably not going to be 148 pieces when you get it. Mm-mm. If it is, you'll pay about $500 for it.
Apparently there are two versions of the Flash suit, though.
Oh, cool.
There's like his version, and then there's the version that Bruce makes for him.
Oh, I was hoping you'd say Bat Flash.
Yeah.
Hey, if we get Iron Spider, we get Bat Flash, right?
Screw people claiming copies of copies and copies. I guess both. Nom, nom, nom,
right.
Nom, nom. Michael Wilkinson spoke about it. The costume designer. The suit is more armored and angular. And he says, okay, so when Zach and I started talking about The Flash, he loved the idea that because this is the first time we're establishing this character in our cinematic universe, that it's kind of like a prototype suit. He's discovering his powers. He's working out what this thing is, and he is testing things. Some things work, some things don't work. Some things are in development. And so this suit is incredibly beaten up. This is a suit that's being assembled. If you look this way, that is the full suit, how it appears in the movie. It's a prototype suit. It's something that is designed to protect him when he moves incredibly fast through space. And so we've studied aerodynamics and vehicle design. What moves through space the fastest? We have this sense of rigid pieces at the front that deflect toward the back. There's a sense of a blade-like in a plane wing here, and then venting back here. So it all feels very aerodynamic. He's testing different materials. You can see smooth materials like tech materials. We figured he's an incredibly smart, resourceful young man.
Kind of sounds Tronish.
A little bit. You know what it just reminded me of was Injustice.
Oh, yeah, actually.
But they said apparently like 70-something of pieces are just the mask, just the headpiece.
Jesus.
And they assemble it in like 5 minutes.
Oh, Grant Gustin is going to be pissed.
I think he probably already is.
I mean, yeah, just in general, but spent all that time gluing my mask to my face, and this guy gets 48 pieces?
Yeah. I forgot about this
pieces,
point, or this part. Back on the rooftop with Gordon in the Justice League.
Yeah.
That's weird saying. Apparently, like Wonder Woman says the word parademon, and Gordon looks confused by it, and Batman deadpans flying monkeys.
That's awesome.
Right?
That is just straight up awesome. I mean, it makes as much sense as anything else.
Yeah. But yeah, the parademons are looking for mother boxes, apparently.
All right, so they've got to find 3. All right, so if that's part of the story, then there are 3 mother boxes. Linus has one, Themyscira has one, and Humanity has one.
Mm-hmm.
If they're looking for all 3, are we talking about Cyborg being like a focus of this film, or the parademons not going to realize that he is essentially a mother box? Because I've got to be convinced that little clip is not a mother box taking him over.
I don't think it's a mother box taking him over. I think it's a mother box repairing,
or reanimating him, essentially. I mean,
technology.
Yeah. I'm sure
it might be mother box technology, but it's probably not the mother box.
You think it might be a knockoff?
No, I'm saying I think the mother box repairs him with its own technology, but I don't think I don't think he is a mother box. I think the mother box just created him or helped create him.
We'll be able to watch it again literally tomorrow, but it looked a hell of a lot like the mother box that was there.
Yeah.
Pretty much
maybe
assimilated itself into him. And if that's the case, the Cyborg movie has a lot of legs now. So does the Aquaman.
What if it just, procreated?
Where are you going to find a father box these days, Dave?
Affleck says there's definitely room for more humor, and apparently joked that his multiple pounds of leather made him envious of Ray Fisher's silk pajamas. He also said DC movies are, I think, by their nature, still a little more gothic or a little more mythic rather than some comic book movies are. But BVS was a heavy dark movie because it was really rooted in Dark Knight Returns, which is a heavy dark book. This movie is not that. It's not multilateralism? Jeez, I don't even know that word.
I got nothing. Multi-material. Sorry, that's beyond me, man.
Yeah, me too. I'm sorry, everyone. I failed you all.
I'm going to go ahead and put all my cards on the table. I've got a minor in philosophy, and I still don't have a fucking clue what he's talking about.
Yeah, I actually want to know what that is.
I'll look it up later. That'll be me and some Wikipedia happening here in a bit. Not going to try to go down that road right now.
Multilateral diplomacy is defined as the practice of involving more than 2 nations or parties in achieving diplomatic solutions to supranational problems. This article begins by describing the many functions performed by multilateral diplomacy.
Wait, did you
Is
say
it bad that I still don't know what it means?
I thought you said I thought you said multi-materialism for some reason.
No. Multilateralism.
Oh, multilateralism.
Yeah, I think I just said it wrong the first time.
That'll happen, guy.
That'll happen.
Because weird term.
Yeah. I still don't know what it means.
I still didn't know what that meant.
Anyway, moving on from the embarrassment.
I know what lateral thinking is, and then past that, that's my last clue.
Oh, okay, I get it. Anyway.
It's describing House of Cards, though, I think.
So let's see. Where do we leave off here? There's so much stuff.
God, movies? We left off in movies. I don't freaking know.
Went over that.
We've been at this for an hour, and I still think we're talking about Justice League.
We are talking about Justice League. See, Affleck says Batman is trying to redeem himself. Batman definitely went to a very dark place that was rooted in trauma that occurred to people that he loved and worked with. And what he saw, this movie is not about that issue for him so much anymore. He's no longer sort of extreme in that way. From the experiences of the last movie, he sort of learned, and now he's sort of wanting to redeem himself and wanting mankind to be redeemed. And he's wanting to make the world better. Snyder talked about the critical response to BVS and his failure to reach $1 billion worldwide. He says he doesn't feel any added pressure when it comes to Justice League. He said, I had a great time making the movie, and I don't think that Warner Brothers, when we were shooting the movie, that there was some sort of corporate mandate to get Batman and Superman in the movie. Chris and I kind of had that idea, and then it just so happened that that was a way toward Justice League, and it came along at a great time for us as the studio was moving forward with the other DC titles and getting the DCU to exist. But I don't think the birth of Batman v Superman was like some corporate conspiracy to sell tickets or do whatever. I think it just became this great vehicle that had a lot of focus put on it because of where it ended up in the timeline. Let's see. Star Trek Build-A-Bear collection sets phasers on Cuddly. That's not related, but that is a link for my own personal use later.
Mm-hmm. Go forth. Anyone who thought, what?
Yeah. The Justice League will stand on its own. It's not going to be part one. There's not going to be a part two. There will be a sequel, but not a part two. It's one complete movie.
I do kind of like that.
Yeah, I prefer that.
I mean, I'm going to be I'm going to be pretty conflicted when Infinity War comes out.
Yeah?
Yeah, because it's right now they've still got it listed as part 1 and 2, and oh man, I hate seeing a part 1 and waiting a year and some change for a part 2.
Yeah.
Because I'll want to just hang out and wait on that, and I'll know for sure I really can't do that. I mean, I can't.
Yeah.
No way.
Zack Snyder did say that Justice League owes a lot to Jack Kirby. I mean, obviously.
Right.
He says Kirby's crazy in a great way, and there's a lot of influence. The New God stuff. We were digging on that, and man, you're gonna get a Granny Goodness, I bet. And that's the mother boxes and that sort of apocalyptic world and all that. I don't know if I can call it weird. The kind of scopy sci-fi cool. What I think is fun stuff. I think inherently when you start to talk about a bad guy that would justify the Justice League, you have to have a good threat that's fun and kind of crazy.
Right.
Mother boxes are always fun, DC weird tech,
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, the ultimately the Justice League, you can either have a lot of like terrestrial villains, or you can have one or more extraterrestrial villains. Mm-hmm. But there's not a lot of people on Earth that can really justify having all those dudes in one room fighting him.
Maybe. Looking at you, Chemo.
Like Luthor on his best day still has to leverage several other people against him, or with him against them.
Mm. Oh, here's something. Here's something big. They asked Zack Snyder. Zack Snyder wouldn't say how Superman comes back, and they asked him, "Well, how's his hair when he gets back?" And Zack Snyder said, "Should be perfect. A little longer, I guess. That's what the myths are, anyway." So, super mullet. You're
gonna tell us right now: is he gonna look like he belongs in a leather jacket? Is he gonna look like that or not?
Apparently, we are going to see Cyborg as a civilian in Justice League. he's going to be able to cloak his appearance so that he can function in the world. According to Michael Wilkinson, the costume designer, he says practical effects would be this. The face is Ray Fisher. We can see him. We see him a lot also as a civilian. You can see here at the top how he disguises himself, and we'll see some sweatsuit action. Yeah. The Atlanteans. Let's see. The Atlanteans and the Amazonians are being described here. Their costumes. The Amazonians, I guess, look apparently fiercely feral with simple leathers and cloths hiding little skin, or their blades and arrows. And they said that I think that was for the flashback sequence, like 35,000 years ago or whatever.
Right.
And then they were actually talking about the Atlanteans. Let me find that. Apparently, Amber Heard is going to have red hair as Queen Mara. And she was, like Deborah Snyder did actively say she is still Queen Mara. They're not firing her.
Okay.
Vulko, Willem Dafoe, is going to have a silvery aesthetic. And, let's see. All the Atlanteans have a translucent and elastic armor of different colors that when backlit glow like the gnarliest fish living in the Mariana Trench.
So, bioluminescent glow.
Yeah.
They're all going to look like Mr. Freeze.
Looks like it, Bye. Looks like it. Zack Snyder talked about his reasons for Superman being kind of a morose character. In previous films, he said, I wanted to get to a Superman that had a reason to be Superman, like a reason to feel the way he felt about humanity, or the way that we all understand from the comic books as far as his moral compass goes. He's pretty much been. But I feel like he had to go through something to be that. And I'm not saying he shows up in this movie. So, yeah.
The last part's the most interesting to me. Like, I completely agree about every part of what he just said.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm pretty sure he's showing up in the movie.
I may or not be. I mean, like, I liked his idea on this one that, hey, maybe he wasn't always Superman. That's fine with me. But, man, it feels more earned for him to actually go through some shit first. But I like him kind of not guaranteeing that he's necessarily going to be that guy yet.
Yeah. Because
it would feel a little bit cheated again, like not earned. If he just died, he comes back and goes, I'm the greatest. I am he, essentially. Like, they already literally did like a Christ pose in the first and Man of Steel. Like, I don't want him to die and come back 3 days later and suddenly be the greatest person ever. You gotta make it not an absolute, symbolic journey.
Yeah. Ooh, apparently during the rooftop scene, when Cyborg shows up, Flash says, now that he's here, I don't think we can all fit in the car. And Batman says, I've got something bigger. That's awesome.
Welcome to the Bat-Quinjet.
Mm-hmm. All right, so there was a report that Christopher Hivju from Game of Thrones, I think that's how you say it, it was going to play like a character, like an Atlantean king of some sort in the past. But they saw concept art of his likeness, and they came out, like Warner Brothers came out and said, no, look, he's not cast. That was a likeness of him, but he's not cast.
Gotcha.
So,
no, that happens though all the time. Where someone says, I want him to look kind of like this guy. Yeah, it's not a guarantee of any kind.
Affleck says they'll be at Comic-Con.
San Diego?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Now, in relation, this is something I've been waiting to hear, because they've never done this right in any Batman movie that I can think of that was live action anyway. Affleck says the world's greatest detective aspect of Batman is more present in Justice League than it was in Batman v Superman, and will probably be expanded upon further in a Batman movie that I would do. I think all the great Batman stories are, at their heart, detective stories. That's why they feel like noir movies in a way. Somehow, it feels like it could be the Maltese Falcon. Yeah. He said, I think Warner Brothers has a date
language
for
now?
it. Huh? Yeah.
You speaking your language now?
Absolutely. Talking about the Batman movie, he says, I think Warner Brothers have a date for it, although I don't know if I would necessarily be able to make that date, because I don't have a script that's ready yet. So my timetable is, I'm not going to make a movie until there's a script that I think is good. I've been on the end of the things when you make movies when you have a script that's not good yet and it doesn't pan out. It's something that would have to pass a very high bar for me. It's not just like, yeah, that might be fun, let's go try this out. The reason I'm executive producer on Justice League is I'm directing one of the movies. So there's sort of this cross-pollination of story and characters, and I don't want to give any stuff away, but it basically means that there are some things that might happen in my Batman movie that are affected by Justice League. I mean, here we are in the police station in Gotham City. There's a potential that something like this might exist in that story. Well, making sure that the right hand knows what the left hand is doing. You know what they're doing. One hand knows what the other was doing, and I get to weigh in on stuff that impacts the Batman stuff. In the last movie, Batman definitely went to a very dark place. I already read that part. Sorry, that was from another. No, like I said, I have copies and copies of this stuff. I don't know where it is. So yeah,
there's a lot of cross pollination in the news too. That sounds like a fantastic idea, though. Is in a way, like, let the characters EP themselves. You keep track of your own continuity, Momoa. Let us know if something goes wrong.
Make them all executive producers and directors,
right?
Or just Affleck. I'm good with that.
Yeah, Affleck's actually got street cred as far as a writer goes. So
and directing. So apparently one of the sets is Wayne Hangar. It's an old hangar that's been abandoned and taken over by Bruce. It's been said that they could fit about 20 Batmobiles in there and still have some room.
Nice.
It was it's said to be created by the Gotham Iron Foundry Company, established in 1920. It's near Gotham Wharf. On the tables, there were vintage newspapers with numerous car, missile parts, and miscellaneous pieces scattered around. Let's see. There were 20 missiles stacked in 4 rows of 5. There was a Honda motorcycle. There was also another car that they had, like, covered up really well, like put a tarp over so you couldn't see what it was, and they said based on what they saw, it looked like it was really low to the ground. Monitors displaying scenes from BVS, stuff from like the Flash, Wonder Woman, Cyborg, and Aquaman footage from Luthor's files. Debbie Snyder and Chuck Roven are saying that each DC film is independent of one another, that they're all interconnected by bits of connective tissue. All the films kind of fit into a timeline, but they're independent films. You can see one and not see the other one. They operate on their own. They all have their own tone, and they deal with different characters. Yet they're all in the same filmic universe, and there's little bits of crossovers that we see, but that isn't essential to the story. That kind of worries me. I kind of hope that there's like more of an overarching story.
I want there to be an overarching story, but it has to be that way. That's requisite. It really is. Every movie that comes out, if it's the first time you've ever heard of it or the first time you ever decided to go out to see a movie, you want that to be a movie that you can actually go out and see and go, oh, okay, I should go buy the rest of these DVDs. I got no hate on that. Like every episode of a show, I'm still trying to convince you to come watch the rest of that show.
Yeah. Oh, they're also for costumes. They're using 3D printers.
Nice.
Right?
It's the first time I've actually heard of that happening.
Yeah. They say the big challenge of creating them is making sure that they not only look great, but they're functional for fighting and maneuverability. That's pretty amazing. I love the whole 3D printing thing. Mm-hmm. I want a 3D printer.
Don't blame you.
I don't have that money.
I don't have a need, but still sounds like a cool thing to own.
Yeah. Oh, I have tons of need. I can make my own action figures.
Right.
Apparently, Cyborg's costume is being created digitally from the neck down. Collider says not a lot of Victor Stone from the neck down.
Nice.
It says Cyborg is using technology that he got from one of the mother boxes, which was shown in Batman v Superman. His technology is mysterious, and he discovers his gun arm in the film.
Okay, that's kind of fun.
That's what I thought. Like, the mother box didn't just become him; it just gave him the technology.
That's kind of fun.
He can enlarge when provoked or when he goes into battle mode.
Cool.
Apparently, Flash has a cool pair of sneakers that has the Flash symbol on both sides and on the base.
Little Hermes going on there, little Mercury.
Yeah, I guess so. I've heard he doesn't have the Flash things, the little lightning bolts coming off of the sides of his helmet.
Good.
I've heard he has little gold bars. I like the things coming off the side of his helmet. It bums me out that no one ever wants to do it right.
Nah, sorry. That's something that's supposed to be reserved for when you want to pull Jay Garrick out of the hat. Other than that, I'm good with it not being there.
Wilkinson said when he was designing the Flash costume, he didn't feel the need to compete with the TV show. He wanted to design something that worked in the Zack Snyder universe. There are apparently 2 Batman suits in the film. One of them looks like the one we've already seen, except it has new armor plates under the costume to give added protection. Also, there are spikes on the outside of Batman's forearms now.
Gauntlets? Or, oh.
I don't know. It says spikes.
I don't know if that's technically a gauntlet. Somebody who's real into leather, let me know, but still.
It says the second Batsuit is toward the end of the film, but has more carbon fiber, more protection, and a new cowl, which adds more strength and protection around the neck and added levels of communication with Alfred and the members of the Justice League. The second costume also has new goggles. You can see how it's going toward the Nightmare Batman scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Has new goggles, which help pilot a new vehicle. The costume also helps amplify his strength even when dealing with an old injury. Wonder Woman's costume is changing a little bit. It's getting a little more red, a little more comfortable and maneuverable, but they're saying that the costume is 5,000 years old. Apparently they saw a big blue cape for Wonder Woman in the concept art. They've made everything from scratch in the costume department. Nothing is being store-bought. The movie has to dress 3,000 extras and has 200 speaking parts.
Good Lord.
Uh-huh.
It's not a movie, it's a biblical statement.
Is currently filming in London until September, and after they wrap, they're going to go to Los Angeles, and then yet another still-to-be-determined location. Filming is scheduled to wrap in October. In an interview, Ray Fisher talked about how he came to be in Justice League and, I guess, Batman v Superman. He says, I was in a play off Broadway playing Muhammad Ali at the New York Theater Workshop 3 years ago. And around the time, Ang Lee, one of his upcoming projects, was a 3D boxing movie about Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier, and he came and he saw the show at the time, and I hadn't had an agent or a manager up until that point, but once people caught word of that, they started coming to the show to see who's this guy that people are coming to look at, and from there I signed up and went out to California for a visit and met up with Lord Kennedy and Christy Carlson from Warner Brothers, and they said, we have something that may be right for you, but we can't tell you what it is. It's just in the realm of the Batman Superman universe. And I was like, I'm done. Sign me up. I'll play a tree. Yeah.
Yep, I would have done that. I would have done exactly that.
Yeah. The production spent 6 months working on the costumes and research and development before any actors got involved.
Jesus.
Yeah. Apparently, Alfred and Bruce are developing a lot of tech for all of the members of the Justice League.
That sounds right, though.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, normally you'd have like him and John Jones, but since we're not going to get that, still a little bit bitter, if you can tell.
Yeah. Collider is saying, on one of the walls in the art room, they showed pictures of the cast with who they were playing below their pictures. This is usually done for the main actors. Listed on the wall was everyone you'd expect except Jesse Eisenberg. I don't know if it's because they're trying to keep his involvement a secret or if it's because his role is more like a cameo. While walking around the war room, I'm going to guess it's the second one. While walking around the war room, we were able to see tons of pre-production artwork that was created at the end of last year and beginning of this year before Batman v Superman was released. Most of the artwork showed the vehicles and locations from part of the Justice League movie, and almost all of it was missing Superman. The one piece of art that featured their iconic hero had him standing with Batman, the Flash, Cyborg, and Wonder Woman without a descriptive background, meaning it could have been anywhere. Let's see, here's some of the artwork. They put a massive silhouette of Steppenwolf. The poster was at least 4 feet tall and showed his horns and a claw of some kind on his left hand. Wonder Woman standing near the Batmobile fighting creatures with wings, parademons.
Sounds right.
Let's see, the Nightcrawler, a variation of the Batmobile, which has the typical control area with 4 massive legs that resemble a spider's legs and can get to areas a normal car or plane can't. Inside of a tunnel between Metropolis and Gotham. A new vehicle on the artwork called a troop carrier, but I believe it will be called the Flying Fox that Batman has brought in with 3 levels in the artwork. You can see the top level is where the controls are, the middle level had Flash walking around, and the lower level had Aquaman and Cyborg. Imagine a much bigger Quinjet from the Marvel Universe. Cool looking water scene that had huge looking vehicle sitting in the middle of a large body of water with the back open and Flash, Aquaman, Batman, and Cyborg climbing aboard. Barry Allen's apartment features multiple TVs and looks like it's off the beaten path. A cool picture inside the Batjet showing Batman, Aquaman, and Wonder Woman flying together.
I actually would like the multiple TVs to have something. Like, I would like it to indicate that he's watching the news all the time and several different channels because he can stop several local events at once if he wants to.
Right. So yeah, there's also some concept art from Star Labs and a picture of Alfred manning the gunner station inside the Flying Fox.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I think that's pretty much wraps up my my Justice League stuff.
You're kidding.
I think so. I think that's it. I think that's done.
I thought we were going to do the news until we could actually see the movie.
So, as of June 26th, the Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice, the Ultimate Edition, is number 1 on Amazon's bestseller list.
I'm going to submit that as two groups of people. One, a group of people like ourselves. Again, many apologies for being ourselves to anyone who doesn't agree, who enjoyed the movie and thought that other 30 minutes sounded fantastic. There's going to be another group of haters who will buy the movie because, fuck it, it's like $25.
Right.
And they're going to watch the other 30 minutes and go, and it's still terrible. Fine. Do what you do, guys. I don't care. And then a middle group of people who almost like the movie and are really hoping that 30 minutes is worthwhile. I think because of the way that this movie is, the way it came across, I think all three groups are going to be pretty satisfied, honestly.
Yeah.
If you hated it, you're going to continue hating it. I think the 30 minutes is going to fill in some gaps for people who hoped it was a little bit better. And I think if you already enjoyed it, the 30 minutes is going to just kind of like placate you and be kind of interesting.
Yeah. So most of that came from Collider and Steve Frosty Weintraub. If that name sounds familiar from this podcast, it's probably because I believe I did his voice as Kermit the Frog a few weeks ago in an interview segment that we read.
That was a wonderful time.
Yeah, that was weird. That was real weird. And I also got a lot of information from Mark Hughes from over at Forbes, who is a stalwart fan of Batman v Superman. So there was that. I got a lot of that from both of those guys. So there is a new featurette called In the Shadows of Gods from the Batman v Superman. It's been showing. It's basically just telling you the story of the backstory of Lois Lane and Alfred. There's not a lot new there. I'll put up a link to it. Let's see what else have I got. What else I got, y'all?
What you got, yo?
I got so much.
I know. Just goes on forever.
Yeah. Oh, Suicide Squad is going to be 2 hours and 10 minutes long. Apparently.
Yeah,
there were some reports that it was going to be like an hour and 40 minutes, and then Ayer was like, "That shit ain't true."
Right.
So, he has confirmed that Argus is going to be a part of the Suicide Squad movie. He tweeted out like a manual called NHEJCO, Non-Human Entity Joint Combat Operations, featuring the logo of Argus, which stands for Advanced Research Group Uniting Superhumans. So there is that. That's the organization in the New 52 that was under the command of Amanda Waller. Karen Fukuhara is in Playboy. This is the actress playing, who's she playing? What's her name? Katana. God, I've lost it. My brain went mush for a minute.
Sure.
Apparently she's not nude in this issue of Playboy. I'm not even sure they do that anymore.
They don't do that anymore.
I don't know if that was like starting in January or what that was. I don't remember.
I forget when it was. It was like it was end of last year, I want to say.
Okay.
I can't remember. I think it was 2015, but yeah, Playboy is no longer a nudie, kids. No longer a nudie. Gonna have to hustle your way somewhere else.
I don't follow the Playboy, so I don't keep up with it. And they're like, "Oh, we're Maxim now." Okay. But Karen says, as a first-generation Japanese American, I've always wanted to play a samurai warrior like my Suicide Squad character, Katana. Samurai are almost always male, so growing up in America, I had a hard time figuring out role models. Katana and I may not have the same personality, but coming from the same cultural upbringing, we share core values. In Japanese culture, there's this idea of putting others before yourself, but I've also never wanted to let myself down. Someone recently told me how refreshing it is to see an Asian woman as a superhero. That stuck with me. Stand up for yourself and what you love. That's a good message. Yeah. Interestingly, though, this seems to really cement the notion that she's not one of the Suicide Squad. She's more or less Rick Flag's bodyguard.
It has been suggested. Also, there are no scenes of her in jail.
Right. There's that as well. So they have also released 11 Suicide Squad posters. They're a lot of fun. They look very comic booky. They're eyeballs and weird things, entrails and stuff all over the place. Onomatopoeia everywhere. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
They're character posters. 21 Pilots, who are on the Suicide Squad soundtrack, released their music video Heathens. There was some question among some fans if they actually shot on the sets for Suicide Squad. They did not.
No,
I watched a behind the scenes video.
It's way too easy to recreate that kind of stuff.
They did a really good job. Actually, it didn't seem that easy. They were kind of talking about how it was kind of difficult to match the tone of the cinematography from Suicide Squad. But
yeah,
they did a pretty good job. I'll say that for them. I'm assuming the same thing happened for the Lil Wayne, Wiz Khalifa, and Imagine Dragons music video that came out. That was pretty good. What was that one called though? I don't know why I don't have it in my notes.
Oh Lord! All right, give me 5 seconds.
I will give you 5 seconds.
Shit! I don't know why that's not in my history. Never mind. I just watched it. Totally supposed to be on my history. It's just not. I just watched that damn thing.
Oh man!
Nope, I've got it.
It up.
Got it. Sucker for Pain.
Sucker for Pain. I listened to it. It's not my kind of music. It's just not. I liked the 21 Pilots one, Heathens. I really did like that
that's
one.
solid. I listened to that thing probably 20 times, honestly. It's actually right up my alley.
Yeah, it's very, very, very catchy.
Catchy, got a little bit
Sucker
of...
for Pain.
It's got a pop vibe to it. It's got a little bit of a... Even got a shoegazer vibe to it in a way. Yeah, it's right up my alley.
So,
the Lil Wayne and 15 other people, not as much.
When the hell did he get to become Big Wayne?
I don't know.
Isn't he
Didn't Lil Bow Wow but eventually become Bow Wow? I think he should have just become Bark. But whatever.
So, it was earlier this week. You sent me a picture of yourself squatted with your squad icon.
Yep.
I was less pleased with my own squatting adventure.
I enjoyed your squatting adventure,
though. You can squad yourself. You know the little icons that are going around of the Suicide Squad with the skulls and whatnot. You can go and you can do that for yourself. You can customize your little squad icon. And it's a lot of fun. We'll post a link to it. It's squadyourself.suicidesquad.com. So yeah, there's that. There's also the news story that came out. The Flash writers are praising Rick Famuyiwa. Rick Famuyiwa being the director of The Flash. Chris Miller and Phil Lord, who wrote a treatment for The Flash, say, we worked with Rick and have been developing a pilot with him for a little while, and we are really big fans of his and Dope. I think he's a rad choice. And, ooh, I'm sure the microphone picked that up. We got some thunderstorms happening here.
Nice.
Big thunder. Big old thunder, y'all.
Yeah, sounds right. I'm about an hour away from you, and things are settled here.
Yeah. I am super excited about the Rick Famuyiwa. I don't know his work. I don't really know his body of work whatsoever, but everyone seems so excited about him. And we follow him on Twitter. I've seen a lot of his stuff that he's put out. He seems to have a great sense of humor, and he seems to have a really great sense for the tone that I think The Flash should be. So I'm really excited about it. I look forward to seeing Dope when I get a spare damn minute. And I'm also going to be catching up on this guy. Do you know who Nicholas Winding Refn is?
No.
He is a director.
Like, I can keep up with 3 whole names.
Yeah. He is a director. He directed Drive, which I didn't have an interest in. I watched a clip of it on YouTube today, and oh my god, I was completely just drawn in. Like, it's like Ryan Gosling. It was like Ryan Gosling and like another dude in a car, and they're waiting on a dude to come out, and the dude's robbing the place, and the dude finally comes out.
Oh, that thing.
He runs into the car, and then like they're driving. This is from Drive.
Yeah.
And he's got the police scanner, and they're like looking for their car. So it was very suspenseful, and it just had me roped in. And then the clip ended, and I was like, no. He also directed The Neon Demon, which looked really weird. It looked like, I don't know, Elle Fanning was playing like a really pretty girl who was young and comes into the world of modeling, and Christina Hendricks is there and looks like she's like in charge of the joint, and like all these other like models are like gunning for her, trying to kill her and stuff. It looked like a weird suspense movie. It's really weird. Anyway, he's Danish, by the way. He also did Only God Forgives, which looks like a fascinating movie. I had forgotten about that movie. I've been wanting to see it. But he says he wants to make a Batgirl standalone movie.
I mean, it can definitely be done. It can definitely
I would love to make one. It would probably be great fun. I just don't know when it's going to happen. I very much enjoy my freedom creatively, but I also would love to make one of those big Hollywood films that costs a lot of money and has a lot of people running around with cell phones and all that insanity. And they asked him which one he'd like to do. He said, which ones are left? You know the one I want to do? I want to make Batgirl. Let's get Warner working on it. Okay, look, this isn't an official announcement of any sort. But how do you, like, a dude that made those movies that were pretty critically acclaimed at the very least, and I looked at enough of it to see that it looks like a DCEU movie. The tone looks on point. How do you say no to that? Like, a dude wants to make the Batgirl movie? I want him to make the Batgirl movie. I've never even actually seen a full movie. I want him to make the Batgirl movie. And how awesome would it be to have a Batgirl movie?
And I haven't seen any of, and, you know, you can keep it DCEU. Like, we haven't seen Jenna Malone officially yet, so
Jenna Malone has been proven to not be Barbara Gordon.
Oh, has she? Don't spoil that for me. That is a spoiler. Buddy. Apologies to anyone who hadn't read that.
It's been everywhere. I don't know.
I've specifically seen that GIF and/or image anywhere and moved the hell on with my life.
Yeah, I considered it for a second and thought they have actually released that officially. So
have they officially? Okay.
Yeah, they did.
If it's official, anyway. It's official. You bastards. Taking Jenna Malone away from me.
Well, you still got her. She's just
taking her Batgirlism away from me.
So we're going over into TV now.
Oh, are you kidding?
They like that.
There's still a TV?
Kidding. This is TV. Yeah, we're going to TV now. Gotham is bringing in the character of Mario Falcone.
Yeah, saw that.
James Carpinello is going to play him. He's going to differ in Gotham. Surprise, surprise. He's going to differ in Gotham than he did in the comics. In the comics, he tried to clean up the family's name, go and move it over into, straight running, but then eventually return to the criminal ways.
Of course.
In Gotham, he's going to be a well-respected Ivy League-educated ER doctor. He's an all-around good guy, making him the black sheep in the Falcone family. However, when he comes to Gotham City, his presence will have detrimental effects on Jim Gordon's love life with Lee Tompkins. I really don't want that. I'm so tired of that. If anyone's going to be detrimental to... You know what? No. We love Gordon too much. We can't have Alfred just come in and whisk her away. It's going to have to be some asshole like Mario Falcone.
That's
to put the rift. He, as Matt of the MCU cast used to say, he drives the wedge.
Right.
You have to have the asshole who drives the wedge, and then the good guy can come around and be like, "Hey, baby, chomp chomp chomp, shit." Okay.
Oh yeah. I'm always bored with one of the romance stories. This is not going to be any different.
Yeah, absolutely. So we were worried about the Poison Ivy overhaul.
Yeah.
28-year-old Maggie Geha? I don't know. We have a long history of not knowing names here.
It's
she
established
will be taking,
more so than any of the characters on Gotham, apparently.
Yeah, she is 28 years old. She looks like a supermodel. She will be taking over the role from 14-year-old Claire Flory. Now, this is how they're going to describe. This is how they're saying it's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
This is TV Line saying it.
Sure.
She is going to run into a monster from Indian Hill. After the confrontation, she finds herself reborn into a matured and also formidable version of herself, finally being able to harness the full power of her charms. Now nearing the peak of her powers, the awakening Poison Ivy sets her targets on Bruce Wayne. Doesn't that sound like the most boring shit you've ever heard? No, can we actually have some character development with Ivy?
You had this awesome
like
little girl
14-year-old
kind of totally making this work, but okay. All right, we'll do this instead.
Creepy. Like, she was creepy. She did a good job. We don't need her to be like sex pot suddenly. Let's not do that.
No.
So, Jamie Chung, known for The Hangover, is going to be Vicki Vale's aunt, Valerie, in Gotham.
Yep.
She is described as a crackerjack reporter, dead set on uncovering the truth behind Indian Hill. Confident and dogged, she will do anything to get the scoop, and soon sets her sights on Gordon, who she believes is the key lead in her story.
Mm-hmm. So, also another foil between him and Leslie, and
yeah, probably
triangles on either side.
I don't want to be down on Gotham, but everything they're presenting to me for this next season is just like, why are we still talking about Indian Hill? Can we not? Can we just deal with the monsters running around Gotham now?
You did the interesting thing at the end. Just let that be.
We know we've got a doppelganger.
That's kind of
another
You threw this really interesting thing at the wall and it stuck.
Mm-hmm.
There's a Brucelganger. Like
a Brucelganger.
Like, play with that. Tell me about that. Foil me, damn it. Even lie to me. But don't tell me like, oh, we're gonna have Leslie fall in love with maybe somebody else, and oh, there's gonna be somebody else that's gonna harp on Gordon and the Vales. Am I wrong about this? I'll call them Vales now because Vicki Vale's the only one I've ever even known about. The Vales, though, are generally just a romantic interest. Like, they do their reporters and all that, but I don't know that I've ever seen a story about a story about Vicki Vale as a reporter in her independent own right. It's always just Vicki Vale, reporter.
They did.
Who sometimes does these things.
They kind of did here and there.
I don't remember it. I mean, I'm gonna go ahead and go with you. Hopefully, it's happened.
Vicki Vale was always somehow like in all of the mythos, Batman has always been the more interesting character than Superman. For whatever reason, Vicki Vale was one of those that just never quite caught on. She was the poor man's Lois Lane. It was the one area where Batman just really failed. She was just a knockoff of Lois Lane, if anything. I think she married a district attorney or something and went away. I think that's what happened to her, and then he died. I don't remember. And they've kind of recast her now. I always wondered why we never saw, because we see her in the serials, you see her in the first Batman movie with Keaton, and then you just don't hear anything from her. She was in the comics. She floated around in the comics for a while.
Pops up every now and then.
I just wondered, you get like Andrea Beaumont, you have like Selena Kyle, you have so many people, like Julie Madison.
Yeah.
But you don't hear a lot about Vicki Vale. And the Arkham games is the first time I saw her in forever. Like, just show up like, I'm Vicki Vale. And I went, oh, shit, you.
Where have you? How'd you get my number?
Long time no see, baby. But sorry, I'm really excited about Ash vs. Evil Dead coming back.
I understand.
It doesn't start until September, but I'm still excited about it.
I mean, it's less time than you were phasing before when you never thought it'd come back and you were still excited.
Yeah, I was. So anyway, moving over to Lucifer, they have cast Lucifer's mother.
Definitively said mother, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
It is Tricia Helfer.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly known as number 6 or whatever her name was. 6? Was it just 6? I don't even know. I didn't watch Battlestar Galactica, but that's what she was from.
But
let's
do this.
Yeah, I was told it had a poor ending. I don't know. Anyway, I only say that because I know I'm going to get at least 3 people who message me somewhere and go, how am I listening to you and you haven't seen Battlestar Galactica? I saw enough.
I'm sorry. I watched about 20 minutes and went, I'm not going to have time for all of it.
Mm-hmm.
It is a finite world. A finite world, people.
Lucifer's mom is apparently named Charlotte, and apparently the role is going to have its challenges. Helfer says, I heard it put, she's not really that much older than Lucifer and Amenadiel, but it will all make sense once you see it. She doesn't want to. She's afraid of giving away too much about her character, who's been trapped in hell for thousands of years by her ex-husband God. But Helfer allowed very quickly. Once you meet her, you realize what she's about and who she is. Mm-hmm. So we're not going to leave people guessing. There's been enough of that with the concern that she's escaped from hell. She claims that all she wants to do is spend time with her sons again. But can the devil's mom really be that innocent? There are a lot of layers to her. She's going to be fun to play. I'm sorry, there's something incredibly off-putting.
Mm-hmm. About silly. Lucifer? Sure.
Well, yes. and silly about the phrase ex-husband God.
Yeah, I laughed. I haven't actually heard it put that way at any point, and it gave me quite a chuckle.
I mean, it reminded me, there was like the Louis C.K. bit that he did on SNL, where he was like, if God is our father, then where is our mother? And he pauses and looks around the audience and goes, what did he do to our mother?
Yeah, that's solid.
But, yeah. Lucifer's also adding Dexter's Amy Garcia to the cast.
The lieutenant?
She's,
I
don't know. I didn't watch Dexter.
I watched the crap out of Dexter.
I intend to watch Dexter because I'm sure I'm going to get a couple of messages saying, how can I listen to somebody who hasn't watched Dexter? I intend to.
Again, finite world, people. Finite world.
Yeah, indeed. But yeah, she is going to be a new love interest for...
No, not the lieutenant.
For Lucifer, apparently. Going to be a forensic scientist named Ella Lopez. She is...
Batista's daughter.
This was interesting. Now, this was interesting. She said the character is described by Fox as a bit of a walking contradiction. She's brainy but spiritual, warm but tough. She grew up in a pretty rough neighborhood in Detroit, but also in a strong Catholic family under the watchful and protective eye of her 5 brothers, which might explain some of her opposing personality traits. Her mutual belief in both faith and science proves a point of interest to Lucifer and the rest of the department as they get to know and love her quirky ways. If they can, like, pull back from the, like, ridiculous grade school mentality of religion and philosophy enough to, like, actually delve into, like, something deep, that could be an interesting character. If not, which I'm sure is the case...
Yeah, we've kind of either harped or at least hit on. Lucifer this year was very much a 101 class, and some of the things that just, I mean, you can wiki in 20 minutes some of the stuff that they hit in the entire season.
Some of the philosophical problems that Lucifer himself has, I'm just like, I understand this. How can you not understand this?
Right. You've been around way longer. How is this not a thing you've worked out?
You're Satan.
Minimally, you're much older. How have you not?
I barely remember Mr. Miracle's real name.
Scott-free.
How do I get this and you don't? Anyway.
Yeah.
Would you have any more thoughts about Lucifer and so on and so forths?
I rarely have more thoughts about Lucifer and so on and so forth. Today is no exception.
Fair enough. Over to Supergirl, Linda Carter has been officially cast as the President of the United States. We knew this was going to happen. They said they were going to do it last year, but didn't have time to get her in there. And so that's officially happening. Over to The Flash, Jesse Quick is confirmed for season 3, but Violet Bean says she knows she'll be back, but she doesn't know if it's going to be with or without her powers. She also doesn't know if it's going to be like Earth 1 or Jesse Quick, or if it's going to be like Earth 2 post Flashpoint. She doesn't know how that's going to go down. She says, with the whole Flashpoint, anything can happen. It's literally open to any different kind of false reality. She could be Earth 1 Jesse. She could be a speedster. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
She also said that when they got... Spoilers for The Flash. When they got hit with the Speed Force, she and Wally, she said, when Jesse got hit, I was like, it's happening, it's happening. There was the spark when she came out of the coma, but it didn't happen. And I was like, no!
Sorry, girl.
I'm very excited to play a speedster. I would love for it to happen early next season. Guess who else is going to be back for season 3 of The Flash?
I know about several people, so hit me.
Well, on Father's Day, Grant Gustin tweeted to Mark Hamill, "Happy Father's Day, Mark. See you this season."
Oh snap!
Trickster, y'all.
Oh snap!
Mm-hmm. So, over to Arrow, if you don't have any other comments on Mark Hamill's return.
Not so much comments, just like ejaculatory noises. I mean,
longtime listeners of the show will note that Jason and I are avid worshippers of the great and hallowed Mark Hamill.
Yeah, mostly his vocal cords, but I mean, I'm cool with the whole Star Wars thing, but once they just put him behind a mic, that's really where the magic started happening.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I don't know about
there
all
are people
Star
that would
Wars
literally
mess,
punch me for having said that.
Yeah, I mean, Star Wars is great, but Joker.
Star Wars are alright, but...
And Trickster. Anyway. So, over to Arrow. So much Arrow news. Arrow. Stephen Amell says that we're going to get someone back on the show in season 5 that we haven't seen in two full seasons. We had someone actually suggest that it might be someone on the Facebook page. Actually, we actually starting to get a lot of interaction on the Facebook page. I should have looked into this, but they suggested it might be Huntress.
Yeah, that was a good one. Huntress can't be Shadow. She showed up last year. Everyone is obviously going to want to think Deathstroke.
Yeah, but he showed up in season 3 though.
For like half a second.
Yeah.
And then he showed up in season 4 in costume for literally half a second.
Mm-hmm.
But
was that him or was that his son?
No. Legends. He showed up as his son, and he shows up in like this mind warp scene for long enough to kick a motherfucker in season 4 of Arrow. But Huntress wouldn't hurt my feelings at all. She was fun. She's Huntress.
I was okay with her.
I've never seen a live Huntress before, and she did fine.
Yeah, I have seen a live Huntress before, and she did way better than they did.
Wait, where? Where? What did I miss?
Birds of Prey.
Wait, live Birds of Prey? All right, school me.
Oh, it was a terrible show that the WB tried to put on after Smallville, and it was I think it was Ashley Scott as the Huntress, but she wasn't like Helena. She wasn't Helena Bertinelli. She was Helena Wayne. She was Selena and Bruce's daughter, which is there is a comic book precedence for it. It is canon in like the old days and like the old school,
right?
But it was like this they were like trying to go like all the costumes were from the movies, so they had like it was like the Michael Keaton era Batman. And the Selena Kyle Catwoman costume, and it was like they had a massive love affair, and they like Alfred was the main character on the show, and he was like Mr. Pitt from Seinfeld, and it was really weird.
Right.
Even though he always delights me whenever I see him, so he wasn't even a problem. Mia Sara from Ferris Bueller's Day Off was Harley Quinn. She was the main bad guy in the show. Dina Meyer was Barbara Gordon, and fantastic at it. I actually liked her a lot. But they had some young girl who was Dinah Lance, and she was a psychic. And then frickin' Becky from Full House, Lori Loughlin, showed up as the original Black Canary, who had the sonic scream, her mother. It was a whole thing. It was real weird in some ways. But it wasn't Gotham City, it was New Gotham, because like the old Gotham had like crumbled or something. There was an issue. There was some kind of like No Man's Land type of thing before I think No Man's Land was even a thing.
Yeah.
It was real weird. But Batman's disappeared. We don't know where he is. Batman and Catwoman are gone.
Yeah, presumably that was like a season 2 thing they had up their sleeves.
Yeah, see, it did not last very long. It was Sam Romanoff von Roos on Facebook who said, I hope it's Huntress. And that is a wonderful call. So
yes. I'm fully behind him.
See, he also said that even though Black Canary is dead, that her presence would still be felt on the show despite the character's demise. The idea of Black Canary and what it means and what it embodies in Star City is something we are going to examine this year. Mark Guggenheim also put out concept art for a statue that apparently they make of Black Canary. It's going to be somewhere. It's going to be like a big like bronze statue that has like her birth date and death date on it. So that's kind of weird, but fine, I guess.
No, she's like the first exposed martyr. I mean,
yeah. I mean, that's fine.
It makes sense for Star City to do that. To do
it
that.
Absolutely does. And besides all that, I almost said Bruce. Ollie's the mayor, so he could pretty much just say, "Yeah, we're also going to build a bronze statue to this Green Arrow fellow. Just don't look at his face.
Don't look at my chin.
Just don't look at his.
Don't look at my chin while I'm talking."
He also said, Amel said, if the premiere is any indication, Arrow is going to be freaking mean this year. Episode 501 has an opportunity for us to quite literally have the most vicious, violent one-shot, which is where there is no cut in the history of network television. They are trying hard to be Daredevil, I feel like. I really do.
He says it has the opportunity. He didn't say we're going to do a one-shot.
He said, he said that they told him you have 21 days to get as ripped as you've ever been for the most vicious oneer in the history of network TV. No stunt double. No stunt double. I
love that, though.
Scene. I do, but I'm just...
For a number of reasons. One, you have 21 days, which means they sure as hell must have went to GNC and like brought him $500 worth of product. Mm-hmm. Also, I believe Stephen Amell knows how to actually do that in 21 days if he has to. Mm-hmm. Even if it is reactionary, that's kind of cool. Like, all right.
Yeah,
you think we should be Daredevil? Fuck this. We're gonna. All right. You know what? We're gonna use our original guy. No stunt doubles. Like that's.
Yeah. Okay. I'll say this. Like though, if they're gonna do this, I really want them to do it. Like, I really want them to do it. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and go, "Why is Daredevil better than Arrow?" It shouldn't. You know what? That's fine. Do what you have to do. Get better than Daredevil. Do it. I want to see this show better than ever. I want to see this show kick Daredevil's ass.
Yeah.
Not because I want Daredevil to fail or be worse than Arrow, but because I want Arrow to get better. Like, Arrow has an issue. Arrow has multiple issues.
Yeah.
The writing is sloppy. The acting is subpar in a lot of ways. And quite frankly, the cinematography is kind of dull, and the choreography is lacking. I want this show to be sharp, man. I want this to be like, all these comic book shows to be sharpening each other, like bringing each other's game up.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Yeah. In all of season 2 of Daredevil, it didn't quite match that scene, that like hallway scene in episode 2.
Oh, I disagree though.
That
stairway fight.
Stair fight was good.
The hallway/stairway fight.
But dear Jesus.
I'll take it though. Anyway.
But yeah, it absolutely, like, this is an opportunity to go, okay, all right, you think I can't do this. Let me show you something.
But to be fair to Arrow, Daredevil, they spend about $4 million an episode on Daredevil. They spend about $1 million or $1.5 million an episode on Arrow, from what I understand.
Yeah, which may be why he doesn't get a stunt double. Which is...
Or a CGI double. Yeah.
Right.
Damn, Barry gets that.
Here's Daredevil. So
apparently he's going to have...
CGI devil. He's double.
Yeah. So apparently he has salt and pepper hair now.
What? Just in general?
Amell put up a selfie of himself with salt and pepper hair.
Uh-huh.
He's got gray hairs and stuff. And he wrote, "Excited to debut my suddenly salt and pepper hair in the season premiere." I read a story that said that he's going to shave it over the summer. The character shaves it over the summer and it comes back salt and pepper, which would be stupid. I'm hoping it's a time jump.
No, that's not stupid. I disagree about the stupid. It's stupid that he doesn't already have gray hairs.
Uh-huh.
I mean, stress creates gray hairs. I firmly believe it. Since we've gotten to the color era of being able to take photos and videos of people over a series of years, go back and find any president on day one of his on inauguration.
I know.
Shit makes gray hairs, man. Doesn't take long.
I know it does. I know.
I would think.
I just don't think he would go completely Jay Leno over the course of the summer. I just don't.
Not Jay Leno.
Especially since Oliver has already been running like hell over the last few seasons. Like, he's already known more stress than any president would know.
That being said, like, I was 12 years old, and you could blind yourself if you stood right behind me at the right angle on a bright summer day. I mean, my hair was like, Eminem wouldn't have been able to dye his hair the way that mine actually naturally existed. And then by 13, I had brown hair.
That's real weird.
I don't know.
I saw pictures of you as a kid. I went, "Who the hell's that?"
Right? And it changes quickly sometimes.
Yeah. All right. Well.
Follicle revolutions.
No.
Fight the power.
Sounds like a Guggenheim argument to me.
Yeah. I'm with you, Mark.
I think that's the first time you've ever said that. And of course, it's going to be a 2 hour 2.5 hour episode at the very end of it where you're like, I got you, Mark Guggenheim. You and me win.
Yeah, man. Good
The one time in the history of the show, no one's going to hear it.
No one cares anymore.
Oh, man. So apparently they're changing the Arrow costume again.
Yeah, that's all.
They're saying it's a slightly modified version. And addressing the Flashpoint paradox story, he says it certainly could affect our show. Chad L. Coleman is joining Arrow. Walking Dead star Chad L. Coleman is going to be playing Tobias Church, who is apparently uniting various criminal organizations in Star City under his command. So, bad guy.
I mean, I'm sure he could. That dude's giant.
Mm-hmm.
I would actually like to see him and Diggle standing next to each other.
Do what?
I would actually like to see him and Diggle standing next to each other. Because Diggle, to me, is just... He's a giant creature. Compared to everybody else on Walking Dead, this guy looks like a giant creature. And I haven't looked up either of their physical stats, but kind of wondering if we get a side-by-side of these guys.
I've been reading on the internet, and I think Squadcast said it as well, that they think it might be Tobias Whale. He might be Tobias Whale. They just didn't want to call him Whale.
Yeah. Well, they
saw how much Target got in trouble. And like, we'll call him something else.
We're gonna back off just a little bit.
All right, so Arrow season 5 is apparently also adding Artemis.
Yes.
The Madison McLaughlin girl who played Evelyn Sharp, she's reprising the character, and they're apparently going to make her Artemis, who was from Young Justice. She was based loosely on Arrowette from the Young Justice comic book, which Artemis is such a better name than Arrowette. So I'll take it. In the comic, she was she was the daughter of, I guess on Young Justice, she was the daughter of villain Sportsmaster and Tigress.
Correct.
And became Green Arrow's sidekick. So they're probably going to be setting her on a similar path.
It was genuinely wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
God,
I've yet to see Young Justice.
I know. So this was just me like adding to my heap of my chorus of voices saying, "Oh man, it was fantastic." Carve out about 28 hours and knock this out.
Mm-hmm. So over on Legends of Tomorrow, Maisie Richardson Sellers is going to be playing the grandmother of the Vixen we all know from Arrow and her own animated series.
Aptly titled Vixen. Aptly titled Vixen.
Yeah, absolutely. She's going to be playing Amaya Joey and the grandmother of Mari McCabe. And she's going to have the same powers.
Yay.
And apparently going to also have the Vixen moniker, I guess they say. I saw an interview with Alan Tudyk, Vanessa Hudgens, and Danny Pudi.
Awesome.
And it was kind of fun and funny, and they were just kind of talking about their characters. Nothing really new. The only thing new that came out was Alan Tudyk said that Jack-O-Lantern was in the Powerless show.
All right, now I know you're messing with
He didn't say which one. No. He wasn't messing with you. He didn't say which one, but apparently there's going to be some of the mystical lantern ring around. I don't.
That'll be fun.
They released this of the main characters from Krypton.
Yeah. There's
Segel, envisioned here as an athletic, quietly confident, and in his 20s comic fans are familiar with, an older and grumpier Sedge, I guess. I'm going to say. From an appearance in the classic Starman number 51. Apparently, Goyer's still involved. He's an executive producer on Krypton. Sedge is a good guy at any age. In the comics, he and son Jor-El helped Starman get away while other Kryptonians wanted to detain and dissect the Earthling. There's Lita Zod, a 20-something beauty who will likely have some familial tie to Superman's future foe, General Zod, while she herself is a reluctant warrior. Vale, Sedge's genius grandpa, defied death by going into the Phantom Zone and is a staunch believer in space exploration. Allura Zod, Lita's mom, happens to bear the same name as Kara Zor-El's mother on Supergirl, while Zod always raises an eyebrow because of that whole kneel before thing. Dev M, if anything is going to survive Krypton's inevitable fate, it'll be this chiseled 20-something bad boy. In the comics, Dev escapes the doomed planet, abuses Superboy on Earth, and eventually becomes an ally of the Legion of Superheroes in the 30th century. And Terrell, Sedge's father, we didn't get him to play Supergirl's Man of Steel, but maybe Tom Welling could play Clark's great-grandfather on Krypton, it says. I doubt it. I don't know if this was...
I want to go with a no.
Yeah. So production on the pilot is apparently supposed to begin in Montreal later in the summer. WB is going to be bringing 21 series to Comic-Con this year. The 100 Animaniacs Live, I don't know what that is. I looked into it so hard and I couldn't find it. It's
a confusing concept, but yeah.
Arrow, The Big Bang Theory, Blind Spot, DC's Legends of Tomorrow, The Flash, Frequency, Gotham, Justice League Action, iZombie, Lucifer, The Originals, People of Earth, Powerless, Riverdale, Supergirl, Supernatural, Teen Titans Go, and Time After Time, and or The Vampire Diaries. They're going to be bringing cast members and all of that, so, I mean, if you want to see all that, you need to go and get you some tickets to Comic-Con. They're going to be showing a whole bunch of pilots, so... There you go. Telltale is hoping to have all 5 episodes of their Batman game out by the year's end. They still haven't said when it's coming out, but they are aiming to have it out by the end of December. But Job J. Stauffer says that if there's any small thing comes in the way, it'll probably be bumped to January. The slightest delay could bump it to January.
Dear God.
So if you live in the East Rutherford, New Jersey area, or feel like going out there, you can take a ride on the old Batcopter from the Adam West movie and series. It's apparently owned and operated by the Knock family, and they're going to be at the State Fair Meadowlands in East Rutherford, New Jersey, just across from the Hudson River. Yeah. And they're going to be offering rides for fans between now and July 10th. The only exception being Sunday, June 26th, when the fair is dark for MetLife, for the International Soccer Tournament at MetLife Stadium. The rides are $50 per person, and they're also selling T-shirts. You might want a keepsake, I guess, if you ride in the Batcopter.
For me, that would be like I don't know. That'd be me like defeating my fear.
Right.
But for God's sake, I would ride in that chopper. And
I'm assuming
I'm on record as saying that I am just terrified by flying. So
absolutely, me too.
I would still get in that fucking chopper.
Yeah. Now they're gonna be back at Cliff Galbraith's Monsters and Robots show in Somerset, New Jersey, 8/27 and 8/28. It will not be flying, but you can go and hang out and get pictures of it. It's going to be at Rotors and Ribs Fly-In Goshen, Indiana, July 15th and 16th. Flying, rides available. Cleveland National Air Show, September 3rd through the 5th. Flying, no rides. Cincinnati Comic Expo, September 23rd through the 25th, not flying. And Thunder Over Michigan Air Show outside of Detroit, August 20th through the 21st. Rides available and flying, obviously. So that does it for our news.
Oh, all right. So now you and I just privately discuss when we're going to steal the Bat Chopper.
I'll be honest with you. The notion of sitting in the Batcopter for fear that it would actually accidentally take off is so great.
You may have misunderstood my intentions.
Even be interested in stealing the damn thing.
No. Land heist.
Land heist. Just disassemble it piece by piece, eh?
Nope. All we need is like a forklift and a flatbed truck. It'll never take off again, but it'll be ours. And we need some sort of public storage facility that won't ask a lot of goddamn questions.
The only forklift I'm interested in messing with is when I lift my fork to my face. I mean, macaroni and cheese or something.
I get that,
on it.
But for like a Batcopter, I think I can handle those controls.
You know what? I'm pretty good. I can just go down to Walmart. They have like a small Batcopter that'll fit in my desk. It's a replica, and probably doesn't smell like Adam West ass. So I can get it for like $10.
Where did you say the Batcopter is right now?
The Batcopter is currently in East Rutherford, New Jersey.
Okay, that's a good 1,400-mile journey from Alabama.
It is.
We cannot be expected to do that in a forklift, so we'll have to rent one there, which will create a paper trail. We'll have to deal with that. That's a whole thing. So we need to create an identity. We can maybe take care of those things if we can get just that and a forklift.
I'm telling you,
maybe
man.
2 forklifts because we have to like edge it up a little bit and get it back on, and then we're gonna have to ask Chris to find a flatbed that's off the books to truck it back somewhere. I assume he has a CDL, so hopefully he'll know how to operate a forklift. So if we can
maybe
gotta have a CDL, but we can just pray he knows how to operate a fork. Frankly, we're gonna say let's just set everything up and hope Chris can steal this thing for us.
Mm-hmm.
That's what this comes down to, and then we'll spend like I don't know, what do you say, a week and a half hiding it and being too afraid to fly it before the authorities eventually show up.
I was
maybe 9 days at the outside here.
I really like my idea of going to Walmart and just buying the damn thing for $10.
Well, sure.
Put it on my desk.
Well, sure. But then we can't experience the joy of sitting in it without actually having to go up in it. Because I'd be happy to sit in it and go like it makes sounds with my mouth.
Yeah, I could see it. Seems like a lot of trouble, though.
Oh, which is why we'll never do it. We're way too lazy for any kind of shenanigans like that.
I'm too busy posting news to the Facebook page.
Damn straight.
Facebook.com/DC on screen. Wink.
Or just go to Facebook and type stuff in. Wink, wink.
We're almost to 4,000.
Getting there. Woo.
Or almost to 3,500, I guess.
Moving on up.
So, guess what happened?
Mm-hmm.
Our friend Scott Madison started his new podcast.
Oh, the Next Time Cast.
Yep, it is called Next Time. You can find it on SoundCloud as of this moment. He just put up his first episode, and so you guys should really go and listen to him. It's a good show.
Yep.
Also,
it
go
is
listen to our buddies.
The
Steve
Mulder
West
to
and
our
Jacob
Scully,
Raspberry.
I would say.
What?
Scott's, I would say, is the Mulder to our Scully.
Oh, sure, absolutely.
Right.
But you know who the Skinner to our Scully is?
Screensplosion?
Steve West.
Ah.
Steve West and Jacob Raspberry over at Screensplosion, yeah. Mm-hmm. They put on a fine show. It's like all entertainment news, though. They're just talking about all sorts of stuff, like movies and TVs. They ain't got a cape. They ain't got to have a cape involved. They talk about capes sometimes, but they don't have to. No.
I mean, I do, but
yeah,
I have standards and stuff.
We're niche. We're niche, and they're mainstream.
I speak of gods, Dave.
Yeah. Well, not everyone can go so epic with their. Mm-hmm. They do too, though. They talk about Marvel and DC both.
Yeah,
but not like we do. Not as in depth, and they don't say the F word nearly as much.
Yeah, we're not suitable for work. If we didn't explain that up front, I apologize. It was a couple of hours of you pissing off your coworkers if you were like hanging out. Frankly, I don't know how you're still employed at this point. It doesn't take that long to have thrown us on, gotten in trouble, and gotten fired.
Yeah. I would give money, real money, and probably a lot of it, to just be like a fly on the wall as like a boss somebody's boss called them into their office and said, "No, what's this I hear about bat wieners and potato peelers?"
Right.
And to hear them try to explain that, no, they were listening to it was just a Batman podcast. It was just a DC podcast, DC Comics podcast.
Yeah.
What kind of a DC podcast?
I'd be particularly interested if someone just started their explanation out with, well, here's what you missed.
Right.
Like that person,
see, Dave
that
said
person is, that person's a hero to my heart. Like you're called in and, called to account on like, okay, I heard these words and these words. And somebody walks in and goes, okay, I apologize that you didn't understand what was happening, but let me explain to you what went down and what you've missed. It's a man after my own heart.
Oh, yeah. I forgot. There was some other news.
Of course there was.
Justice League Action.
Oh, yeah.
They put out a poster
with
for
all
it.
the amazing voices.
They put out a poster, and in the corner of the poster was freaking Space Cabbie. That's right. I mean, this dude has saved Superman's life.
Sure.
He dealt with Lobo. He's done time travel.
Yeah.
He's taken cabbies. You know, he's developed a reputation for a guy that could get you anywhere, including the past.
That sounds right.
Space Dear cabbie from the 22nd century, y'all.
Dear good God.
I don't know why, but that really excited me.
It's like if someone had shown you a poster of anything that was going to happen on Brave and the Bold before, you would have gone, oh my God. I can't believe
actually
he was
that. When they canceled the Brave and the Bold comic tie-in, they actually did. They had Batmite pissed off that it was getting canceled and was like, hey, we could have, look at all the opportunities we're missing. We could have had Space Cabbie. And they did like a Space Cabbie thing.
I can't think of a better way to phrase this. Of fucking course they did.
Oh, yep.
Paul Rubens
Space Cabbie. They're gonna have Space Cabbie. They damn well better have Ambush Bug floating around there somewhere, guy.
Well, it just seems natural.
Oh man, are we calling it? Is this
calling it? Calling it.
That's the end.
Been a lot of news.
There's a lot of news. I'm sorry. I always hope for some really funny, ridiculous stuff, but
there's at least been
this week.
A little bit of bullshit from our end. Hopefully that was entertaining, but it's been a lot of news.
Been a lot of news.
Yeah.
So we love you guys. If whoever made it to the end of this, I
whatever. Not trying to be exclusionary.
Yeah, no, yeah. If you're
a robot or
some place unknown,
more than sentient chimp or whatever has found its way to this cast.
Are you out there listening, Detective Chimp?
Sure. Cyborg chimps. Absolutely, we accept cyborg chimps as listeners and applaud them.
We do. If you know people who just like to stick something on for their animals during the day while they're gone at work, I recommend DC On Screen.
Sure. You
can find every episode at DCOnScreen.com, as well as on iTunes and Stitcher and wherever pods are caught.
Kick punchers.
We're proud members of the Giant Size Team Up Network, if that does anything for you. GiantSizeTeamUp.com. A lot of great shows over there.
They are.
Until next week, I don't know what we're going to be covering. I think we covered everything that's ever been, ever.
I don't know. They dropped so damn much this week. I can't imagine what they held in their other pocket, but we'll see.
All right. Until next time, guys. Keep some DC on your screen.
Judy was boring.
Hello.
Then Judy discovered ChumbaCasino.com.
It's my little escape.
Now Judy's the life of the party.
Oh, baby, mama's bringing home the bacon.
Whoa, take it easy, Judy. The Chumba life is for everybody. So go to ChumbaCasino.com and play over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.